What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Thinktwice, a weekly show where we talk about things going on in the world of Magic the Gathering, gaming, and pop culture. For episode 33, I am your host, Justin Parnell, joined by my co-host, Ali Aintrazi, and this week we're going to talk about the newly released Masters 25, StoryCircle Karn, and the Netflix horror film, The Ritual. Mr. Aintrazi.
Mr. Parnell.
Where do you want to begin today?
I want to begin with my winning of the question of the week.
You listen.
My master.
You know what you're the master of? You're the master of narrow victories.
Hey, a victory's a victory.
A win is a win. You are essentially winning. You've won now 2 polls at one life.
I mean, if you know me though, that always
true.
happens.
This poll you won at like 1 life and like 7 poison. You definitely won the other one at like 1 life and 9 poison, with no cards in your library.
Wow, yeah, it was 1 vote difference,
yes.
right?
This one, yeah. The question of the week: will Liliana turn on the Gatewatch? All you said yes. I said no. 43% of our listeners voted for you and agreed that Liliana will turn on the Gatewatch. 42% said I was right, that she will not. When the numbers break down, you won this one by 5 votes.
You can just say I won.
Literal 5 votes.
Oh, you can just say I won. You have to go into anything else.
This isn't quite winning at 1 life with 9 poison during your upkeep with no library.
Oh my god!
But it's like winning at 1 life with no cards in your hand.
What was that saying? Close only matters in horseshoes and hand grenades.
It's true. That's
one time matters.
True. And as usual, this will we don't know the real answer to this question yet. I mean, we do. We know that she's not, but we don't officially know yet.
Right, yeah. Right. So what did you do last week besides lose the question?
As you can tell, I'm coughing a little bit. It's because I was fairly sick last week. Like right after we recorded the podcast last week, I started to get a little sick in my throat, and full blown sick by Friday night.
When you realized you're losing the poll?
No, I was actually slaughtering you in the poll at that point, as usual. I always jump out to an early lead. I think that's because the people that agree with me are the people that get out in their vote early. And you kind of got the lag behinders, but it's a strong bunch. I'll give them that.
Hey, don't hate on the procrastinators.
That's a compliment. But I was planning to play Pokemon Go all day on Saturday because it was Community Day. So you could get Shiny Dratini, and you can have Dragonite with a special move. And instead, I slept literally all day. Did not even go outside. Didn't leave the house for essentially almost 4 days in a row.
Man, that's rough.
It was rough.
It was Lily's birthday party, and the time was from like 2 to 4, which gave me 1 hour for the Dratini event. But what ended up happening was people want to stay. Everyone wanted to stay longer at the place it was called Urban Air. It's like a place where you can like jump on trampolines and do all kinds of. It's amazing for kids. Mm-hmm. So they decided to stay, and I was like, "Gosh darn it! I'll wait." And then 3:30 roll around. I was like, "Okay." They still want to stay. 3:45 rolled around. I'm like, "Okay, hey, I'm gonna stay outside for 15 minutes and walk around and catch as many Dratinis as I can in 15 minutes." So that's what I did. Went out there. I caught probably 30 Dratini.
That's pretty good. 15 minutes. That's a good rate.
Yeah, or maybe 25. It was a lot. And then I got 4 10-kilometer eggs. I didn't catch a shiny. And then later, my 10-kilometer egg hatched into some random Pokemon. But I still have 3 more chances of the 10-kilometer egg hatching a Dratini.
And of course, between the two of us, it wasn't really two of us; it was three of us because director John Choi, of course, caught several shiny Dratini and lorded them over us.
Yeah,
of
course.
In our production chat.
Easy game, easy life.
Yeah, as you're wrangling children, and I'm wrangling snot into
your sickness.
Yeah. So that was what happened for that.
I also let the record show. I rewatched a movie in theaters.
First time ever.
I think so, actually. I think it is.
That just blows my mind.
So Lily wanted to watch Jumanji.
Just a good choice.
Amber did too. When we got there, Amber didn't know I'd watched it.
Yeah, of course, because she wouldn't think that you would be going to see it again.
Yes, we get there. She's like, "All right." I'm like, "What are you watching again?" She's like, "Jumanji." She's like, "Why? Have you seen it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I saw it." She's like, "Okay, well, if you want to go home or watch something else, you can." I'm like, "Nah, it's good. Let's go watch it. It'll be fun." And it was good. I laughed again. Like I literally laughed multiple times throughout the movie because the movie is just a good movie. It's just hilarious. Yeah, it's funny. Yep. Yeah, it was great.
Okay, so
the cake part was great. Anyways.
It's just a good one. It's a good movie. That's like I said when we did our review on it. This is going to be a movie this is going to be like a rewatchable movie for the next like 15, 20 years. Just like all ages. Just a good movie. Okay. We have a good show for today. Masters 25. Then we get a StoryCircle Karn segment, and then we're going to do another movie review, The Ritual on Netflix. But first, we're going to talk Masters 25. So we're going to take a quick break and return in just a moment.
Am I ready? Yeah. I'm always ready. Okay. I'm always ready. I was born
Excellent.
ready.
I would like you to say in alphabetical order the full spoiler for Masters 25.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Armageddon, a Chrome Angel of Wrath, Chrome's Vengeance.
You're doing good.
Dareen, King of Kelador, Decree of Justice, Lunar Ascension.
As we are recording this, the full set is not out yet. Now, the vast majority of it is all of the rares and mythics have been released. A large number of the good uncommons, but there's still over 50 uncommons for them to preview. We're going to be getting the full spoiler. By the time you are all listening to this, the full set will be out in the wild. So,
in the wild, you can catch them in the wild.
You cannot catch them in the wild for another 2 weeks, but you'll be able to catch them in the wild in 2 weeks. So, what do you think of this set?
I think it's phenomenal. I always love these sets, and I'm always happy they print cards that are like very impactful in modern and legacy.
Yeah,
like Imperial Recruiter is great. It's fantastic. Obviously, Jace is great. Vendilion Click. All these cards are great. I still don't understand the random. I guess I don't know. I understand the set is going through history. But some of the rares are like, was that really the best rare in that set? Or was that really the best thing in that set?
The answer is, no for that. Like, so the gimmick, I'm putting quotation around gimmick. There's two gimmicks for this set. And they kind of go hand in hand. One is that there's at least one card in this set from every release in Magic's history, from Alpha all the way through Rivals of Ixalan. And
where's the Black Lotus?
Well, Black Lotus is on the reserve list, so you're not going to be seeing that one.
It's true.
But they, in addition to just the normal sets, like, there's cards from Mirage and Mercadian Mask and Time Spiral and Betrayers of Kamigawa and Kaladesh, all of the normal sets. They also have all of the commander sets. They also have all the portal sets, like Portal Through Kingdoms, as you said. They also have other supplemental sets where they've released cards. Conspiracy. So it's not just the regular sets like kind of a lot of people thought it was, myself included. And what they've done with that is every single card in this set, except for one, which is Jason the Mind Sculptor, the marquee card in the set, ironically, they all have watermarks with the expansion symbol of the set they were first printed in. And I think above all else, these watermarks look so awesome that this is really going to be the thing that we remember from this set.
From this?
Yeah. Like when we look back, as we go on and we have more Master sets over the course of history, we're going to look back at Masters 25 and be like, man, those watermarks look sweet.
And that set symbol looks...
It's something else.
Not sweet.
It is something else.
It is something else.
And that's and honestly, I think that's the thing. The set symbol's atrocious. I get what it's trying to do, like blown up, like as a large thing. It actually looks pretty cool because it's like the Planeswalker symbol, which Magic has kind of adopted as its general symbol, with like a little 25 over it, so 25th anniversary, and that actually looks cool. But when you make it look real small, not as cool.
You just can't see anything. Yeah,
it's really difficult to tell commons and uncommons apart.
Yeah, I saw that
from the symbol anyway.
I really liked some of like the different arts on the set. I really like seeing blue Elemental Blast and red Elemental Blast. Yes. I think they're probably my two favorite cards, two favorite arts from the set.
So
and I love
they're in my top 5. I actually picked my top 5.
Okay, I'm gonna cut you off because I need to finish first.
Go ahead. What are you doing talking while I'm not talking?
I love how now they're modular spells. Like they say choose one. You know, counter red spell or destroy target red permanent. It just when Wizards decided to use that mode of choose one, then like bullet points, that was just genius.
They did. It just changed the game. It just like for card templating, it just looks fantastic. So
and also the arts on
is that your favorite? Is that your favorite pick for the set art wise?
Yeah, both of them. Like just because like they're still like they're obviously like kind of like opposites, but also the way the mage is holding its hand. Like the blue mage has like the finger,
I was going to point
the
that
index
out
finger
too.
out. Yeah, has the index finger out and his thumb like out, and then the red Elemental Blast character has like the index finger bent and the thumb like very like right angle-ish, where the blue guy is more relaxed.
Well, I actually look at it as the red Elemental Blast is blasting like a lot of the power through the palm of its hand. It's basically coming from like the base of its palm, and it's pushing as much force as it possibly can out with the blast. And the blue Elemental Blast is precision. It's leading. It's through the hand. It's leading, and it's all coming to a point through the index finger, and it's blasting a very concentrated blast. And it's just a nice, like it's a nice,
precise.
Yes,
blast.
but comparatively, like these arts are actually really simple, and this is because these are like, and I think you can, if you want to pick these as like your favorite as a pair, I think that's totally fine because they, like in isolation, they're fine, but.
Yeah, but as a pair, they're like
once you see one, you're like okay, and then when you see the other one, you're like. Oh, now I appreciate both of these more.
Yeah. Even the flavor text is cool. Like the blue one is nothing escapes a sharp mind.
The red one is nothing restrains a burning passion.
Yeah, I like that one more.
Yep. And that goes to show a sharp mind, the precision point of the blue blast, and of course the burning passion, which is the aggressive force of the red blast.
And yeah, while the blue one is precision, the red one is just like full blast passion and emotion. It's just like, I want to counter your spell with force. Not overthinking it, just putting as much power behind it as possible.
My pick for best art in the set, and I love these. My top 5 is red and blue Elemental Blast, Coalition Relic, which I think just looks just awesome. It's like beautiful. It is still the Coalition Relic from Future Sight, but it's like on this like robe that's on the floor, and the art is just beautiful looking.
Yeah, it is.
My next one after that is Ensnaring Bridge, because it still has Gerard on it, and that's actually a really important part of Ensnaring Bridge, because it's like critical to the it's like a moment, it's a key moment in the Stronghold story. Like if story cards existed in Stronghold, this Ensnaring Bridge would be a story card. It's not that it's like a big thing that's happening, but it's like when Gerard is crossing this bridge, and it's obviously trying to restrain him from doing so. This new art looks super awesome, and it's really creepy looking, but it still is a good callback to the original art. But my favorite art in the set, I don't even think it's close, is Imperial Recruiter.
Before you go there, I want to talk about Ensnaring Bridge. This Ensnaring Bridge is literally the bridge, and like halfway through it, a little over halfway, it's coming to life with like hands or fingers. Yeah. And it's still the same flavor text though. It says, when I said I needed a hand, I didn't mean this. So.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No problem. Imperial Recruiter, this is my favorite art in the set. It's not even remotely close.
Is it Jonathan Suarez?
No, he loves, obviously, John Suarez, one of my co-hosts on Commander Versus, loves Imperial Recruiter. Portal 3 Kingdoms is a really great set that was underprinted, so the cards are really expensive. It actually is derived, all of the cards are derived from Chinese folklore, and it is not, it's actually Imperial Recruiter, but Portal 3 Kingdoms is not an original story. It's actually a story that's taken, like I said, directly from Chinese folklore. And the art direction and the art from that set is done exclusively with Chinese artists. And Zach Stella, who did this version of Imperial Recruiter, did an absolutely phenomenal job at still capturing that essence of the P3K art and the set and what it looks like. And there's just so much detail in this. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful art. It's beautiful art. I love it. That's for sure my favorite one.
So is this card the Chase mythic of the set, or is that Jace?
It's still Jace, but this is right there with it. It's right there with it. I think that Imperial Recruiter was printed only previously in Portal 3 Kingdoms and as a judge foil. The judge foil did a little bit for a short period of time to kind of knock the price down on Imperial Recruiter, because it's not a card that's super commonly played, but that's also because it's not the easiest thing to get a hold of. I think you probably will see it more in formats it's legal in, like Commander and Legacy, now that you can actually play with more of them. But I think that and Jace are the two Chase cards, especially with Jace obviously getting unbanned in Modern at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not only that,
now,
go ahead.
I'll say now you can Bloodbraid Elf into Imperial Recruiter to get your Charlotte's Agent combo.
You could, if you're you'd be playing Legacy to do that, but that's a little. It's cute.
I mean, or you can just Bloodbraid Elf into Charlotte's Agent into Visions, but I'm just.
You could, you go on the value train.
Who's counting the value?
But in addition to Jason Imperial Recruiter, the other notable mythics in the set, and there's 15. Chalice of the Void, which is an excellent reprint. That's only basically, Chalice of the Void was kind of still going up in value, and this reprint is really only going to prevent it from going further, but I don't think it's really going to lower the price a ton in the long term. But Chalice of the Void, Ensnaring Bridge, as we talked about, Animar Soul of Elements, which is a card from the original Commander set, Commander 2011. Vendilion Click, as we've seen before, but it has the best art in my opinion. I love this art for Vendilion Click and Phyrexian Obliterate.
Yeah. Nice. You know one thing I noticed?
What's that?
Besides all his mythics, Akroma has a lot of story. There's like three different Akroma cards. There's Akroma's Vengeance, Akroma Angel of Wrath, and Akroma Angel of Fury.
At minimum, there could be even more.
There could have been a Akroma's Memorial.
Yes, there's not. The most powerful Akroma card of them all, but
That's just
we will not be getting a Chrome Memorial. That one would have most certainly been a mythic rare.
Yeah.
For sure it would have been.
I wonder why. I just wonder why they didn't give it to us.
I think they've probably got enough mythic rare Chroma cards, and the Chroma Angel of Wrath, Angel of Fury. Those are not cards that are expensive because they've been reprinted a few times, including from the vault. This is from the vault art, but it's not in foil, and these arts are beautiful. They're both Therese Nielsen arts, and she's one of the premier artists in Magic.
For sure.
Both of these arts are just super super duper awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Some of the notable rares, Rashad Port, all the Eventide Filter lands, Thalia, Summer's Pact and Pact Negation, Azusa, which was one of the first cards previewed, and Blood Moon. All of those are really good. Rashad Port, which was Star City Games' preview. We were happy to get that one. I think that's the fourth most expensive card in the set. Right after
at Rare,
which is that is actually crazy. Right after Jace Imperial Recruiter, Chalice of the Void, and then Porch right after that. Notable commons and uncommons, mostly just uncommons: Curse Catcher, Lightning Bolt, Simian Spirit Guide, Ancient Stirrings, and Ash Barons. Ash Barons, which is a card that was only been printed in a Commander set, but it is like basically a Pauper staple, and that format's obviously getting more popular. We have not seen all of the uncommons. I think there's going to be more uncommons that we haven't seen that are going to be good. I'm hoping for a Bloodbraid Elf. I don't know that I'm going to get it, but I'm really hoping for a Bloodbraid Elf. It would only be fair. How you going to unban Jace and Bloodbraid Elf and only Jace gets in the set? Come on.
Oh, that's fine.
What?
You saw who spoiled Jace the Mind Sculptor, right?
I did see that.
So Shane Serrani made a joke because, all right, guys, Wizards gave me a spoiler for you guys, and it's Jason the Mind Sculptor. This is obviously after Jason the Mind Sculptor had been spoiled. We noticed in the set. Yes. It's just it was just funny because he was an advocate of getting the card unbanned. If you follow Shane on Twitter or anything, he's always like unban Jace. He's on the Jace train, and it finally happened. Then, two or 3 weeks later, or whatever, he was like, "All right, they gave me this spoiler for you guys to show you." And it's Jason the Mind Sculptor. And I just thought that was hilarious.
Speaking of spoilers and previews, you and I, for this podcast, don't you feel like it's time for us to get a preview card?
It is about time.
I think it's totally time. But we can't do this alone. All of the listeners, I need you to do me a favor, okay? This is gonna be a real small favor for all of you, but a big favor combined. Because we need to get a preview card, and I don't think we can do it alone. So I need you to tweet at somebody. And I'm gonna find the person's Twitter handle. It's real easy. You can remember it, okay? Blake Rasmussen is the editor-in-chief for Daily MTG and the person responsible for giving out all of the preview cards. His Twitter handle is @BlakePR. It's really simple, @BLAKEPR. We need you to tweet at him and say that Justin Parnell and Ali Aintrazi, for their Thinktwice podcast, need to get a preview card for Dominaria. If you want to be extra nice, you can give us one of the story spotlight cards.
Oh, I love that.
As we obviously we would have a field. We would have a field day with a story spotlight card because obviously that's our jam.
Oh yeah.
So
I love lore.
Blake PR. Ali Aintrazi and Justin Parnell for Thinktwice at Thinktwice MTG need to get a preview card for Dominaria, specifically a story spotlight card. If a quarter of you can do that, just tweet at him. Just be like, "Hey, I'm just this nameless person." Or if you're not a nameless person, that's even better. Tell him we want a preview card. I promise you, we'll give it its own podcast. We will do it justice. But we need to get that. We need your help. because we've been forgotten about for far too long.
For far
too long. Okay.
And then when that happens, I'll quote Tychus from StarCraft. You'll know you won't know what I'm going to quote until it happens.
Okay, fair enough. I got a question for you.
All right.
Is it
the question of the week? Okay. I'm ready.
Is Masters 25 the best Masters set ever printed?
Yes.
Ooh.
It is the best Masters set ever printed because it has JC Mind Sculptor on it.
Is that you?
No, but seriously, it has a lot of high value cards, but the fact that it brings back 2 cards that are just sought after, like Imperial Recruiter and Richard on Port, and like you said earlier, this set will go down in history as just super memorable because of the stamps and a card from every set. It's very nostalgic, very nostalgic feeling, and on top of that, it has the tie of Jace being unbanned to it, which is another nostalgic thing in like 10 years.
That's
like,
true.
hey, nice 25. So
That's true.
on top of that, it also has a lot of sweet arts, and it just I think it is the best set as far as nostalgia wise, and as far as just card wise.
Okay. And you know what? I'm going to disagree. I do not think that it is. I'm going to tell you what mine is in a moment.
Okay.
But I think it's the second best. And that's saying something. It's tough. I'm gonna say it's tied. I'm gonna say it's tied for the second best, but not the best. Modern Masters 2013 was a really good set, and I never thought that we would have that set exceeded in value by another Master set. I believe that this set equates to Modern Masters 2013, the original Modern Masters. However, both of those sets, in my opinion, lag behind Modern Masters 2017 that we saw last year. When that set came out, I said that was the best Magic set that ever been printed. While it doesn't have Jace, it does have Liliana Veil, which is, as far as dollar amount wise, it's exactly the same as exactly what Jace is. In addition to Liliana, Snapcaster Mage, Tarmogoyf, a lot of key cards getting reprinted that needed a reprint. Blood Moon, which is also in this set, but at the time, Blood Moon really important. Damnation, incredibly important. Cavern of Souls, which is the first time that had been reprinted with awesome art. Goblin Guide, and then a couple other cards that you may have seen before at every tournament you've ever played in, and that's the enemy fetch lands from Zendikar. And those are really the cards that push it over the edge. We did get the filter lands, but the filter lands had only been reprinted one time, or had only been printed one time, just like the fetch lands. The difference is these fetch lands have continued to go up since they've been reprinted. The filter lands are going to go down. They were more an issue of they were from Eventide, which is one of the least open sets in the last 10 years. And it actually might have been the least open set in the last 10 years because it was in a weird draft format. It was just Shadowmoor and Eventide. And they didn't exactly, that set didn't have a long lifespan on the shelf.
All right, Parnell, that's enough wind out of you, all right? So, guys, all these supporters, I need you to tell Parnell he's wrong, that this is the best Master set ever printed, and we need to beat him. Doesn't matter by 1 vote, by 3 votes, by 5 votes. It doesn't really matter because I wanted to win. That's true.
You're right.
So we need to win. So all the fans
and I'm
are
not going to call on Justin fans. I'm going to call on fans of logic. because I believe those are the people that are going to support me in saying that this is not the best Master set that's ever printed. It's Modern Masters 2017.
Now, we've seen procrastinators.
History will... First of all, you can't snap a procrastinator. That's not going to work. History will show this is great, but not the GOAT.
Not the GOAT. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's it for this section. Parnell, you got anything else to say?
I'm good to go. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about StoryCircle Karn. StoryCircle, a favorite segment for all of our listeners and for us to do.
What color are you picking?
See, for this time, I can't pick one because colorless is not an option. Because today we're going to talk about Karn and start to finish Karn's story, where he got his start, where he ended up at, as we go into Dominaria, which we know is going to have a big impact on the future of Karn. So, Ali, why don't you give us a rundown?
First, I want to start by saying I'm going to pick all 5 colors of mana for StoryCircle because Karn can wield all 5 colors of mana.
That's not fair.
That's what I'm doing.
That's illegal.
Right. So, Karn was created by Urza a long time ago. He was created by Urza because Urza discovered that silver could travel through time.
Okay.
So he created Karn, and he gave Karn Xancha's heart, her Phyrexian heart.
Okay, and Xancha was
her heartstone.
And Xancha was a Phyrexian sleeper agent, basically a Phyrexian newt, which is something that's basically like a thing. A small thing, like a child, almost created by the Phyrexia at the time.
Yeah, going into that is like a whole different story of the layers and Phyrexia and stuff. But yes, she was basically a baby newt.
And why did Urza create Karn to go back into time?
He created Karn to go back in time to help him fight the Phyrexians. Phyrexians were just dominating everything. Were in the current timeline. Like slaughtering everything, taking over. So he created Karn so that Karn could go back in time and help stop the Phyrexian invasions. So after that, after creating Karn, Karn was like picked on by Teferi. Teferi was very childish when he was young. If you look at the card opposition, there's like a whoopee cushion quote about him. But anyways, he picked on Karn.
I have a better one. The card Disruptive Student. That's Teferi when he's a kid. It's good.
Nice. Yes, I actually knew that, yeah.
Disruptive Student from Urza Saga. Yep. Which is actually a really good card. That card they would literally never, ever, ever, ever print now. Saw absolutely no play at the time. Continue.
Man. Okay, so Joyra saw this and she it kind of rubbed her the wrong way. So she befriended Karn and she actually starts teaching Karn actual things. Because when Teferi was picking on Karn was just oblivious. He's been created. He doesn't know what if someone's making fun of him or quote unquote trolling him. He doesn't really understand.
Sure.
So Jorah takes him under her wing and starts explaining the world to him and everything else. So they become best friends, and then Jorah dies to a Phyrexian sleeper agent. This obviously devastates Karn. He travels back in time to try to save Teleria and Jorah. He doesn't know what he's doing exactly. He's not sure if he stops it per se, but he realizes when he goes back to the present time that he has now created time rifts. Teferi is stuck in a slow time bubble, but Jorah is still alive. He helps Urza rebuild the academy, and they together they find a way to save Teferi. And then after all that, Urza's like, I'm Urza. I created you, but I have a lot of projects. I'm going to go do more projects.
This is going to be a theme.
Like
this is going to be a theme for Urza for his whole life.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I need to build a wall for the Phyrexians. Keep them out. Okay, so later. So Jorah and Karn are, they're kind of like besties, they like each other, they have history, and Karn likes her even more because he knows at one point he lost her. Like, she doesn't really know what's going on. Like, she knows that what happened, but
because in the current timeline that he traveled back to, Jorah never died.
Correct. And he knows that, like, he knows the feeling of losing someone, actually losing them, and then having them come back. Jorah, though, decides... Go ahead.
A little aside about Jorah before we go on.
Yeah.
As we're approaching Dominaria, we're not going to have a story circle on Jorah. We just don't have time, but we'll talk about her at some point. Unbeknownst to Karn and Jorah at this time, when Karn went back into time to save Jorah and saved and kind of broke Teferi out of his time bubble, what he actually ended up doing was putting Jorah into her own type of time bubble, and she doesn't really age. And that actually continues to this day, which is why she looks exactly the same now in present time as she did when she was a student at the Tolarian Academy.
That's super sweet.
Yep. Okay, you can continue.
So, yeah. All right. So Jorah ends up leaving for Shiv. She wants to go back there and like. She has something she needs to do. I won't go into it, but she has something she wants to do, and her reason to go back to Shiv. When she does this, Karn starts getting depressed, then gets even more like severely depressed. And Karn is a creation by Urza. Karn never forgets anything. Can you imagine having like a photograph memory, but you just remember everything anytime, like
forever?
He's basically like a computer,
and he doesn't age because he's, man, yeah,
a golem, yeah. So this is making him like very depressed, and then a teacher in the Tolarian Academy named Baron tells Urza, "Hey, I'm seeing Karn. He's way depressed. Like, we need to do something. You need to do something. He's your creation. Like, you're technically his father. You need to do something." Urza's like, "Okay, I'll take a break from this project for like 1 second." And he puts a cap on Karn's memory. Karn can now remember things for 20 years. So his memory's capped. And then every night when Karn goes to bed, he has a picture of Jorah, and he always says before he goes to sleep, he says, "Jorah is my friend."
And
he says this to himself, so he won't
literally
forget.
The saddest, like one of the saddest things I've ever heard. Karn is, as we'll continue on, Karn is like one of the most ultimately tragic characters in all of Magic. It's just like his story is all brutal, but this is one of the height of the brutality. It's just he's just like
he just wants to help, and he's good because he's a good. It's weird, yeah. He's a good guy. Just good guy, yeah. Karn, good guy, Karn. Anyways, so Urza then starts messing with another project. He starts messing with the bloodlines of Dominaria. He's doing this to create the ultimate warrior race to help him fight the Phyrexians. If you watch Game of Thrones, these are equivalent to the Unsullied. Or better, whatever. He wants to make the perfect warriors to fight the Phyrexians, push them back and defeat them. But then he's like, you know what? I got more projects. Karn, please come over here and watch over my bloodline project, especially the Cat Machine one.
Karn, come watch my project.
Yeah. And Karn does it. Urza just has a billion project to do. Side note, the bloodline project is almost destroyed because the Phyrexians realize about it, and they see they see what's going on, and they basically destroy a ton of people and almost destroy his whole entire project, but not everything, because Gerard Capuchin is part of that bloodline. He actually makes it. So, and then while Karn is also fighting, and he's like fighting the Phyrexians, but fighting as in like he's kind of like just standing there because Karn at this point is a pacifist. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. Because like he's just doesn't want to see people in pain. He killed one person one time, and he realized with that fresh on his mind, he just can't do it again.
And Karn initially, when he was created by Urza to go back in time, he actually was literally like an assassin, essentially.
Yeah.
To assassinate Phyrexians. But of course,
yes.
Urza, ironically, who through his story, which is really convoluted, Urza is not a person that has much of a conscience.
No, he has one goal in mind, and he's going. He will.
The means always justify the ends to Urza. So
absolutely, he will sacrifice
so when he
anything.
created Karn, he didn't. Having a conscience is not something that he thought about because he doesn't have one necessarily. So he didn't think about what could possibly happen to Karn, from an emotional standpoint, as he's just meant to go out and kill. Karn in the beginning thought it's like, well, this is what I'm supposed to do, so I'm going to do it. But then when he does, it has a great effect on him, which lasts until and all the way through this Phyrexian war through multiple time travels and whatnot.
Yeah, and also the cap of memory makes him forget that he's actually killed the Phyrexians. He gets knocked on his head, and then he gets knocked on his head. He hits hit on his head hard, and that cap goes away. The 20-year cap of memory put on by Urza goes away, and then he remembers that, hey, I've killed Phyrexians. Hey, I've saved my friends. I've defended my friends by killing the quote-unquote evil guys, which they are evil. Yeah. So then after that, he gladly defends his friends and protects them by killing the Phyrexians.
But this time, he's doing so in defense and not aggression. Yeah.
It's defense for his friends and not like assassin.
Yep.
So like the Phyrexian War goes on like forever. Like this is the Phyrexian War. The Phyrexians can be like a different story, but eventually what happens is Yawgmoth begins to manifest himself on Dominaria. Yawgmoth is very weird. He's not like a planeswalker. He's more like a god, but more than a god. He's very powerful. But anyways, he's manifesting himself on Dominaria as the Death Cloud. If you've seen the art for Death Cloud, that is literally Yawgmoth. He is the Death Cloud.
Yes-ish. He is not the card Death Cloud, but that is a good...
That's part of his manifestation onto Dominaria.
The card Death Cloud, but that is a good proximity to what he manifests into.
Right, okay, I thought he was, but maybe not.
Death Cloud is from Darksteel. He's been gone at that point.
Okay, you're right. All right. Yes, that is okay. It's my bad. You're right. So anyways, he's manifesting on Dominaria, and Urza at this point is just a head. He's just a floating head. At this point, this is pre-mending. Urza's been decapitated by Gerard, and he's just still very powerful because all he has to do is will himself to be alive. He's going to be alive. But he tells Karn to take his eyes. Urza's eyes are the Meek and Mightstone. So Karn takes them and absorbs them into himself. He absorbs Gerard, and then he becomes he is part of the Legacy weapon, and he's able to fire a powerful wave of white mana that eradicates all the Phyrexians and actually finally kills Yawgmoth.
Yes. So we know, as we understand.
Yes, that's what we know. Absorbing the stones, the Meek and Mightstone, into Karn, this made him ascend into a planeswalker, and this is the first time that we have that we know of is an artifact planeswalker.
An artificially created planeswalker.
Yes, not because there's actually another artifact planeswalker, but anyways, an artificially created planeswalker.
And again, as we said last week, there's weird stuff historically that goes on with Planeswalker Sparks and Karn. Just like he can kind of freely flow through time, Planeswalker Sparks can kind of freely flow in and out of Karn. But again, that's something that is... it's something that I'm sure that we will continue to touch on in the future, and I don't even mean today.
All right. Yes. So then, after they defeat the Phyrexians and Yawgmoth, and Urza's gone, Karn doesn't really have a purpose anymore. He doesn't really know what to do, but he decides to, hey, I'm going to go create. He goes and creates his own metallic plane, his own plane. It's metallic and it is perfect in his eyes. Well, he calls the plane. Or sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Yourself. So
yes.
Karn,
go ahead.
After the Phyrexians on Dominaria are defeated, he creates an artifact to essentially just kind of watch, just see what's going on in the plane, where he can just look at it and be just like, yeah, everything's fine. And of course, he has no idea what he's doing. So he creates something that he thinks is just a simple artifact to serve a singular purpose. And instead he creates one of the most powerful artifacts in the history of the multiverse, which is the Mirari.
Yes, it is the Mirari.
So the Mirari wreaks complete havoc on Dominaria in the realm of Oteria. But after all that's done, Karn's like, oh man, I'm just going to come back and pick this up.
Yeah, he picks it up, and that's when he goes back to... this is when he decides to create a plane, which is Argentum, and this is, in his eye, like mathematically like perfect. And he makes the Mirari into a golem, a guardian for the plane. Becomes... Yes, and it becomes Memnarch. Then Karn leaves Memnarch to watch over his plane. And then Karn does what his father did, Urza did. He just like, all right, I'm going to leave. He leaves. Yeah, he leaves and lets Memnarch watch over the plane. As he leaves, Memnarch misses his creator, his like father, which is Karn, and he's also his Phyrexian heart is leaking glistening oil. And some of it is
unbeknownst to Karn.
Unbeknownst to him.
Unbeknownst to Karn.
And some of it Memnarch has gotten a hold of. He doesn't really know, but he has. And his missing of Karn, his father, becomes madness. He's like, okay, I need to go follow him. I'm going to transform Argentum into Mirrodin. This is going to be a plane where I can harvest a planeswalker spark from someone on this plane and put it myself so I can become a planeswalker and I can go find Karn. The person he goes after is Glissa. He knows she has a spark, and his goal is to somehow kill her or try to get the spark
by any means necessary. It doesn't matter if he kills her.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He just wants to get the spark for sure. And while this battle is going on, Karn is hearing like the time rifts are messing up basically the multiverse. They need to be closed, otherwise the multiverse is going to be gone as we know it. So this is like when the mending starts happening. It hasn't happened yet, but it's happening. And it's disrupting
things going on Dominaria that are really affecting the rest of the multiverse and Planeswalkers' ability to function as they formerly could, which is as ultra powerful beings that can create their own planes and what have you.
And live by just thinking.
So Karn's like, yes. No problem. I'm just going to hop back over to Argentum, and then it's like he tries. And it's a wall. He can't do it. He can't go back in.
Yeah. He can't go back in because Memnarch has created a barrier around his plane called Argentum or Mirrodin, and Karn can't get back in because he's losing some of his powers because the mending is happening slowly. He gets eventually he's like, all right. He reaches out to Glissa in dreams that tells her how to go about defeating Memnarch, and then from there he goes he goes back to Dominaria, right? To help, he gets called back to Dominaria to help close the rifts, the time rifts. He goes back there. They close the rifts. The mending happens. All the planeswalkers contribute in some way, and they all become weaker.
Yes, he goes back in time to when Baron, who is a former professor at the academy, who's been gone for a while, but actually blew up the Tolarian Academy, and that's in the card. Actually obliterate. And he goes back and he closes the time rift at that time because of course on Teleria there's time is extra funky there. So during this time, after that happens, he's like I kind of feel weird. I feel weird. I don't know what's going on. My mind doesn't seem right.
He gets a spider sense. His spider sense is tingling. He feels something negative. He doesn't know what it is, but he knows he should get away. He should go away himself where no one can follow him.
So he thinks he's going to go to the best place possible, which is the plane that he created.
Right. He goes back to Mirrodin, and he goes to the core of Mirrodin and begins to basically not meditate but he goes there to think and like basically do his
kind of get a hold of himself, because he kind of feel himself. He can feel himself getting maybe not sick, but maybe mentally sick.
Yes. So something's going on. So he goes to the core of his plane and tries to think everything out and analyze whatever. But what's happening is his heartstone is leaking more and more oil. His Phyrexian heart, basically, and it's slowly spreading on Mirrodin, and he is now stuck in his head. He's stuck in his head. He's like locked in his head in a war with himself, and he's basically being worshipped as a father of machines. Now the Praetors are taking over Mirrodin. Mirrodin is becoming New Phryxia, and they're hailing Karn as the father of machines.
So of course Karn, thinking he's going to the best place to kind of take shelter from the outside world, for the outside world's benefit, he's actually going to the literal worst place, which is already corrupted with Phyrexian oil from him. So he's literally going somewhere where that's just going to further inundate himself in his body and his heart. So that's when we get to the events of the Scars of Mirrodin block.
Yes. While Karn's being like corrupted and like in a war with his mind, he has like one small moment of clarity where he's able to like send a message to Venser, give him a warning, or like basically send for help, and then he goes back to being like fighting within himself. Venser goes there and they try to find Karn. They don't know where he's at. He just knows that he was like, hey, help me. And they basically go through a bunch of layers and all of Mirrodin, and finally find Karn on the throne, or not throne, but like the center of Mirrodin. And what's her name? Malaria, she's, if you know her as a card, you can't gain poison counters, and that's because she is able to actually almost immune, and she can like heal the oil or take it away. She's able to cleanse all the oil off of Karn, but not his heart. Karn is being turned into basically a Phyrexian. Venser's like, you know what, I can do this. He's like, I'm sick anyways from Orborg. I have phthisis, whatever, so I'm gonna give my spark and heal Karn's heart completely. And he does that. Karn is liberated. He's fully healed. He gets up. He's like sad, but he's like, okay, now I have to leave New Phryxia. I can't save it. It's going to die. I got to go and retrace my steps and see where else I've left this oil. And that's where...
that's the last time we've seen Karn.
Seen Karn, yeah.
We don't... So, Venser wasn't necessarily sick from anything. Urborg is actually just where he's from. That's actually where he's from on Dominaria.
Right, but he had PH... This, yes. Which was, I think, slowly eating away at him.
Yeah, I think it's... anyway, we don't need to get into Venser right now. Venser's dead. He's not coming back.
He is dead.
So, where do we think this is going to leave Karn? We're getting ready to see him on Dominaria. We know that he is going to be in this story.
That's really a good question, because
last week you said you thought that we were going to have some sort of Phyrexian something on Dominaria. Maybe not a lot, but some sort of reference. And I said I didn't think we were. But if there's two things that Karn has been associated with his literally entire existence, one is
Phyrexians.
I say one has been time travel, and two has been Phyrexians.
Yeah, I do believe the Phyrexians have... there will be a nod to Phyrexians on Dominaria. I will say with like 99.9% certainty, because it has so much effect on the plane. I imagine there's some societies or some things that have like been built around the Phyrexians, or just they've shaped Dominaria. I'm not sure if I'm not saying they're alive. I'm not saying like they're going to come back. I'm just saying that like they've had impact, and we will see that when we go back to Dominaria.
I see what you're saying. I think that I think it's going to be something going to be involved with time. As we said last week, like the Teferi, Joyra, and Karn are all really closely associated with time. So maybe Karn is not in the present. You know,
I don't know. It's weird. Side note: I think Suspend's going to come back.
Yes, you have made yourself clear.
Yeah, just saying that. As far as Karn, though, I don't know, because like, has he been back to all the planes, and has he fixed what he's the oil he's left?
Karn is not good at fixing.
Right,
unless it's something with time. He's not good at fixing stuff in the present.
He's like a big baby that means well, but it's also powerful.
Yes.
So he's like not the best fixer, but he like tries his best every time.
His only way to fix things actually has been to go back into the past and prevent them from happening. I mean, seriously.
That's like his ultimate.
That's
he's a pacifist.
He can't. Well, not even fighting, because pacifism really has to do with like fighting. Even in a fighting sense, like you can't, like, you're not fighting progression, which is what the like Phyrexian oil has taken all of these planes.
Yeah.
At least in some degree. Obviously, we know that due to how Phyrexians operate, they're a combination of flesh and metal. So of course, Argentum was, when Karn made it, he had no idea, but that was basically, you created a perfect breeding ground for the glistening oil to thrive. All of these other planes, that's not necessarily the case, so it will be much, much slower.
So do you think he's like gone back and fixed? He's retraced his steps and stopped the oil. Okay, well, I wonder if he's like chilling on Dominaria, or if he's just like visiting. Like, anyways, we'll see. But it's kind of interesting.
You know what? I don't think he went to Dominaria on his own. We know that Joyra and Teferi are on Dominaria. They just are. They're still on Dominaria. The last we checked, Teferi and Joyra were not planeswalkers, so they're not exactly leaving that plane. They both have had connections with Karn, so I think that because they are pretty powerful mages, they can call Karn back, and I think that's what they've done, because something is amiss. Exactly what that is remains to be seen. I would only call Karn if I had something to do with time and something to do with the Phyrexians, so I think it's time related. You think it's both. That kind of remains to be seen.
Yeah, I'll know. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. Like, I'm just definitely excited. I'm excited to see the first story, see what's going on.
Me too. Okay.
But before we leave real quick, I just want to say, we talked about Karn and his heart. We did say that Urza didn't give him like the way to feel, but Urza's heart, the Phyrexian heart from Zensha, gave him a sentience. It gave him the capacity to feel, perceive, or experience.
Yes, but Urza put that in him. What in him, but it wasn't like. But that heartstone is what gave him the power to do. Is what gave him sentience. Sentience,
basically. So sentience. Sorry, yeah.
Sure, but I guess I was trying to make the point earlier that Urza doesn't even think about those things. Like those thinking, like feeling, is not something he considers at all.
No, he's not emotional. It's weird. Like he's emotional, but he's like
for all the wrong reasons.
How to explain him? Yes, exactly.
Urza's actually
he's
a pretty crappy dude, even though he is ultimately like fighting the good fight. I'm putting air quotes around that.
Yeah, Urza is like definitely blue-red. Like he's very like.
I don't know.
Maybe
I think Urza's all 5 colors, as it shows on his Planeswalker card from Untitled.
Yeah, you're right. He's just crazy.
Okay, anything else on Karn?
No, I'm just ready to have a Karn to put in a ramp deck.
I'm sure you are. Okay. So we have one more week of StoryCircle before Magic Story returns. So we're going to hit one more of these next week. But for now, we're going to toss up a spoiler warning for the Netflix movie, The Ritual. We'll be back in just a moment. Ali, you actually were the one that suggested this movie to me.
Yeah, I watched it. I came on Netflix. It was after I watched it. It was like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. I was like, Parnell, you got to watch this movie. It's great.
You and your girlfriend Amberly both texted me like independently. And I was like, we need to watch this and then talk about it on the podcast. So, The Ritual is a horror movie. It was filmed on location in Sweden. And it follows 4 friends that are taking a camping trip because they're all hanging out one night, and one of their friends was a fifth friend was murdered in basically like a convenience store or an ABC store.
Mm-hmm.
And what he wanted to do,
convenience store.
Yeah, and what he wanted to do, we see it enough. What he wanted to do was all of them go camping in like I don't know if it's the Swedish Alps, but in this large like forest mountainous area, and they're all like, I don't know if we want to do that, but ultimately he dies, and they're like, okay, well, we need to honor his memory, and all get together and go camping. So of course they do that, and immediately a bunch of stuff starts going wrong. And that's kind of where we kind of see this turn into a traditional horror movie, so to speak.
Yes, yeah. This movie was, man, it reminded me of the Blair Witch Project, and honestly, halfway through I was like, not again. But it ended up being so much better. Gosh, but there was so many. The reason it being better is because you actually get to see the monster. Like the Blair Witch Project, you see I think you see the witch. No, you don't see. You see like something, a shadow, and it ends. And you're like, come on, man. And then we also just watched the other movie, Cloverfield Project, whatever it's called.
Paradox.
Yeah, and the same thing. And this time we actually got to see the monster. And then after that, it was like I would say 60% into the movie, you finally get to see him.
Oh, it's much longer than that. It's like 90% in the movie.
Okay, sure. Maybe 80, 90%. You first see him. But anyways, you see him, and then from that point on, you're like, all right, I want to see more. I want to see what's going on. Like what is this thing? And it shows, and then it provides. It shows you more and more, and it's just like, yes, thank you. Because it's so interesting.
It is. You jumped way ahead, which was what I was going to talk about. But we can talk about the monster now. It's okay.
Sorry. What's the best part of the movie?
See, I actually don't. I don't think it is the best part of the movie. And I actually don't think this reminded me of the Blair Witch Project. I don't.
Good for me.
Why?
Because they go into the woods, they lose their compass or whatever, and the compass going crazy, which equivalent to losing the map, and they go in, and then they almost going in circles. So it's they're lost in the woods.
I guess so. I guess the Blair Witch Project for me is more of that was the first hand cam movie, essentially.
God, I hate that. I'm glad that's over.
That's not. Fortunately, that's not a thing that people do as much anymore. Ironically, the first Cloverfield movie was the same, and that, in my opinion, is the best hand cam movie that's ever been made.
Yeah, personally, I don't want to see another one. I don't want to see.
Yeah, I'm fine if I don't see him. The reason this did not remind me of Blair Witch is. There were clearly supernatural things going on in this movie, like without a doubt. And in the Blair Witch Project, there were not. That was basically your mind is playing tricks on you because you're in a state of fear and hysteria. The characters in this movie are also in that state, but they're not being tricked. There is something actually happening to their mind and as we continue to their bodies.
Yeah, I just but there's a lot in this movie too. There's a lot of image things hanging up from the trees to curse them or something, or whatever, or things etched into wood or rocks or houses and that reminded me of a lot of Blair Witch Project too, because that happened in Blair Witch Project as well.
It did, but the difference. But see, like the difference is nothing ever came of it, and I think that's a really that's a turning point in this movie. And pretty soon, so in the beginning of the movie, they are like hiking, and of course, every decision they make in the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie, you're basically like screaming at your television or monitor. You're like, no, what are you doing? Don't do that.
Stop.
And it's like they're like, let's go into the woods, and we're like, no. I watched this movie with my girlfriend Meredith, and she's like, what are they doing? And it's like, what do you like? This is you know what they're doing. They're going into these dark woods because they think it's going to be because their friend, their grumpy friend that's out of shape, twisted his ankle.
Listen. I gotta. Usually, you take like a 5-minute rant. I gotta go a little rant. Okay?
Let me kick back. Go on now.
If I go, okay, tell me when you're ready.
I said go on now. What do you think that means?
I thought you said hold on now. I thought you had to get comfortable.
Okay, go on. You're wasting a lot of time.
I'm going. They go into the woods. The first thing they go into the woods, the compass is acting haywire. Guys, just turn around. Nah, let's keep going. They find a house. Okay, you know what? They need shelter. Okay, go in the house. I can kind of respect that in a way. I can understand that. But then you go upstairs and you see this weird headless thing.
Clearly an altar of sacrifice.
Turn around. Go back. Get out. Just get a house. Okay, that's not enough. They want to sleep there. They sleep there. The next morning, they all have like crazy experiences and dreams, and they've been affected physically as well. And they still do not want to turn around. They want to go deeper. And at this point, I'm just like, you're stupid. Like, this is what I'm losing my mind. Like, I know it's a movie, like, but the fact, it wasn't like, okay, like, hey, let's turn around. They turn around, then realize, oh, they're actually trapped in the forest or the woods. It's not that. It's, no, we don't want to turn around. Let's keep going further in. And that just blows my mind. That's just like, you're stupid. Like, you deserve this. That like, grabbed me the wrong way.
I mean,
in a good way.
So here's the thing, though. While we're as someone who has obviously a lot of my friends are men, and I'm sure you're the same.
Obviously.
While I was screaming to not do a bunch of things they did, I absolutely can believe that a group of guys who are like kind of fueled by the loss of their friend of like, we need to do this. We need to do this for him. No one wants to look scared or like a baby. They all want to they're all like, yeah, we want to do this. I can see how all of these decisions would be made. Like I can actually see like someone's like, why don't we take a shortcut through the woods? We're men. Nothing's going to happen to us. And then they're like, yeah, yep, we're going to do that.
You know, the smartest person in the whole entire movie was the brown man. Was me, basically. He was like, guys, I just worship.
He was definitely smart. He was like, guys. That was actually the thing I liked. He kept saying, he's like, guys, I would not ever do this. This is some really crazy stuff going on. I would literally never do this. Me,
yes. He was emotional like me. Like he was trying to open up and talk about his night and what's going on. And the other guy's like, yeah, I wet myself. I don't want to talk about it. He's like, we should probably talk about this. Maybe give us hints or something. No, we're men.
Exactly. And that's like this like stupid macho. Oh, I don't want to talk about what happened to me. Yeah, well, guess what? It's going to get you killed. And it did.
Yeah, we probably should talk about it because it might help us in some way or form.
I really didn't like that guy. Dom, the glasses guy. I didn't care for him.
Man, I cried when the brown man died. That's it. I was like, at least he didn't die first.
He was the one that deserved it the least.
Absolutely, he wanted to get out. He was ready to get out. He wanted to turn around.
But then it's like, but what are you going to do? Guys, like he also was smart enough to know you can't. Like, I'm not going to try to go back.
You can't go solo.
That's a death sentence.
Yeah, it is absolutely. So he did everything he could. And he's like, I can't go back solo because he's going to die. And I can't like...
He's literally trying to talk them into the best possible scenario and just didn't work. But like you said, at some point we do, in a lot of these movies, there's this is a classic Monster in the Shadows movie. And a lot of times you almost always see the monster. And a lot of times when you see the monster, you have created this sense of fear and fear for the characters, and a lot of times in your own mind, and whatever the most terrifying thing is that this could possibly be. And that's actually where I think this movie really succeeds, is it does such a good job of creating a legitimate fear in watching the movie, because it's actually really creepy. Like, a lot of the things that happen in this movie are really creepy. The scenario where you're with a group of people, but you feel very much in isolation because the things that are happening to you are happening solely to you, and you can't really explain them, but you know something sinister is happening. And ultimately, we do see the monster that is essentially picking off this group, and find out that there are like these cultists that are basically worshiping this monster and sacrificing people to it, so it can protect them. And I'm putting air quotes around protect.
Protect, but make them like live forever, not dying, which is crazy, because one part of the movie, he's in the house, he goes back into like the back part, and like there's like skeletons, and these things, you realize they're alive. He's keeping them alive for that long. It's just like, okay, they're alive, but they're skeletons.
They're only alive in the legal sense.
It's crazy, yeah.
But we see the monster, and it is this legitimately creepy thing. It is a...
they did excellent. Well, I was going to say, I was going to compliment instead. They did an excellent job of making it creepy, but also I want to see more of this. I want to see more of this creature. Yeah, it's... I think I'm not good at describing, but it was very interesting.
So it's basically like a goat type body, as a lot of demonic figures are. And the head has horns, but it's like this shadowy creature that has a really creepy face, like a humanoid face and humanoid arms on its head. And this is its actual head. And its mouth is on its head.
It's basically, the torso is basically the head, right? Where
the torso is like where the head would be located, yeah.
Yes, on a human body.
On a human body. It's actually really difficult to describe, which is...
It's basically... it's basically like...
Go.
Sorry, okay, it's basically a goat. And then like, think of a half goat, half man. Instead of a horse, it's a goat. And then instead of the human head being on like normal, it's in the chest. So what it does is like, it basically like picks up humans or whatever it's looking at, and instead of lifting it to eye level like we would as humans, it lifts it to its chest, because its chest is where the eyes are. And all you see are these red eyes and a blackness all around it. So it lifts it like to the chest for the human to look at, and they can look at. And it's so creepy because it's still towering over them. Like, you're literally looking at this thing eye to eye, but it's literally towering over you because it's still taller. And it's just like, it's a great monster.
And when you look into its eyes, it's basically like brainwashing you into thinking of a different memory. And you actually see it. You see the monster as something else. Whenever essentially when it draws you into its eyes, it makes you see this terrifying monster as something that is pulling on your heartstrings so hard, an emotional event, whether it's another person, whether it's an emotional, like a scene in your past, and basically makes you forget what it is.
I believe that it feeds off emotion and like worship. Like, I think that like maybe that's when I used to live. I'm not exactly sure, but it constantly did this, kept doing this over and over again because I think it needs this in order to thrive. But even at the end, like it takes the guy's like trying to kill it and is damaging it, but the monster literally just takes him, looks him in the eyes, then puts it back on the ground and pushes his head to the ground with its hand, basically saying like, "Worship me." Like I don't want to kill you.
That's
just worship
what
me.
I want.
Yeah.
And the thing is like it needs exactly, and that's what I believe too. Is it's like it needs things to believe in it to exist, and it doesn't kill things as they stand. It will basically maim them and then take them back to this cultist and then sacrifice and then basically kill or sacrifice these people
in public
exactly for an audience.
Yeah, I think it just feeds off the emotions of whatever fear or whatever it is, because it doesn't just kill them like in like dilly dally. It always hangs them up like from like trees and wherever to showcase.
Yes, exactly.
Because it wants it's doing. It's never explained, but that's what I assume from it. But we do learn that the monster is an offspring, a demigod offspring, so half god, half whatever else of Loki. So it is basically a half breed.
Loki is not necessarily
the god of mist.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
Loki is really the god of deception.
Okay, sure.
And that's kind of where you see. That's kind of where you see that it's misdirecting things at thinking of what it is. It's a Jotun, which is the actual thing of what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and these are all Norse things. Like Loki is a Norse god,
yeah.
So
ultimately, Ollie, what did you think of the movie? I think that is the big question, because horror movies are hit or miss. So we're gonna put a new rating system.
All right, let's do it.
So we're gonna have 3 ratings because ultimately, I want us to be decisive on Thinktwice.
Okay.
Would you put a ring on it? Would you like it but not share it? Or would you poo-poo it?
All right, well, I'm definitely not poo-pooing it.
So do you want to why don't you give us an example of movies that we've done on this podcast for each of those?
Okay. For put a ring on it, honestly, Jumanji. Okay. Like I like that. I would share it. All the above. Put a ring on it.
Got it.
For like it but not share it. Cloverfield Paradox. Like I watched it. I liked it, but I wouldn't offer it. Like, hey guys, watch it.
You made a post on Twitter. You clicked like, but you didn't retweet.
Yeah, exactly. For poo-poo, here's the thing. There's been things I've poo-pooed on this podcast, but I don't remember them because I poo-pooed them. So maybe you can help Doug remember. Like, what's something I poo-pooed for sure? Oh, Bright. Yes, Bright. Oh my gosh, that movie was awful. Bright and Justice League. Those were hands down poo-pooed by me.
So The Ritual.
Well, The Ritual is definitely put a ring on it. Like, I literally liked it, and I shared it with you after I was done with it. This is probably one of the highest rated scary movies I've rated recently. Like, I'm not saying it's the best ever, but this is a really good one that I actually really enjoyed.
Okay. I think you liked it more than me. I would like it, but I'm not sharing it.
You want to share it?
No, I'm gonna like it, but not share it. See, I did like it, but so horror movies for me this is one of if not my favorite genres of movies, and it's really hard for me to love a horror movie, but it's also really hard for me to dislike a horror movie. Like it's got to be real bad for me to dislike it, and it's got to be real good for me to really like it. So a lot of horror movies fall into this middle ground, but I think it's up in the it's in the top tier. Like I'd like it a couple of posts would make, but I wouldn't share them.
Okay. Well, I liked it a lot. I would share it, and I would also recommend it. I imagine if you're listening to this, you have watched it or don't care to watch it. We still talk about the movie, but we can't explain the god or
even if you haven't, like honestly,
the monster or whatever.
This is actually a worthwhile movie, even if you have been spoiled for part of it, because we didn't spoil any of the emotions that it brings you when you're watching the movie, and that's really what this movie is kind of about. It does create a pretty legitimate fear and haunting feeling in you as you're watching these people go through this ordeal where there's seemingly no escape, and then there is the important part: the payoff works. It's not just a BS payoff, and you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I would put a ring on it. Okay. I think it's great. Yeah, well, let me know if you watch it or what you thought of it, because I want to know.
Awesome.
Or if you did watch it, what you thought of the monster.
I'm curious of that too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ollie, anything else on the ritual?
No, that's it.
Okay. Also want to note that because I know we talked about last week about watching Game Night and talking about that, since I was sick, I did not leave the house. And since we don't have the future technology where we can just watch movies at our house yet,
yeah, come on now.
I didn't do that. So maybe another time we'll try to fit in our schedule, but if we don't, sorry about the people that watched that. I was simply just not able to. But that's the show for today. So we're going to take a quick break and wrap up when we come back. Ali, what the heck are you doing? No,
right
next
now
weekend.
I am. Next weekend or this coming
or this
weekend.
week, whatever. You tell me.
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'll probably play in a. I would probably play in a Hex event Saturday. I'm actually debating playing FNM tomorrow because I really want I want to play Standard so bad. I want to play this ramp deck so freaking bad.
What are you doing? Go do it.
Yeah.
Go play FNM. Come on. Come on now.
I play FNM.
Go play FNM.
So I might do that, and Saturday I might do a Hex 1K, and Sunday I probably just relax, or maybe do Pokemon somewhere in there.
I can get down with that.
What about you?
I am not going to play FNM, but I am going to play board games on Saturday.
That's fun.
Jeremy Knoll, my co-host on Commander Versus, we've started a kind of a once a month board game day. So this is going to be our second one in a row. So I'm excited about that. Had a lot of fun the last time. And just play board games on Saturday. And then I'm going to watch the Duke Carolina basketball game on Saturday night. So I'm a fun Saturday lined up. For those of you who like basketball, college basketball, I'm from North Carolina. I've been a Duke fan since literally before I could speak. That's just how it works. I mean, I'm serious. Like for the 90% of people that are born in North Carolina, or 90% of people that are born in North Carolina that have basketball liking families, it is chosen for you at birth. Not just at birth, but probably before you were born. And I'm a Duke fan. I've been my entire life.
Well, it's good to know. It's good to know.
Ollie, where can people find you on Twitter?
You can find me at twitter.com/Ali Aintrazi. You can find me twitch.tv/Ali Aintrazi. And my magic articles go up on gatheringmagic.com every Friday.
I also want to point out that director and producer John Choi is a dirty Carolina Tar Heels fan. He's
and a master,
literally disgusting. Anyway, what were you saying?
I don't think so. I'll say he's a master of shiny Dratini. I can see that was my laugh of I don't know what that means because I don't watch sports. I don't understand the appeal, but anyways.
You can find me on Twitter at jparnell1. I'm also the host of the Commander Versus series on StoryCircle and YouTube 11 a.m. every Wednesday, although we are going to the end of our season pretty quickly. We only have a couple left. The next episode, I'm actually really excited about this coming out. We are playing competitive EDH. and I worked with one of our Agent of Bolus producers, Josh Lyons, on a deck. We worked on it for basically the entire week. I'm not going to spoil what happens. You guys are going to watch, but I tried to do Josh Brown. If you are interested in helping the show grow, you can absolutely share the show on any of our 3 platforms: SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. In addition to sharing the show, we'd love if you left a comment or a review if it's on iTunes. That is honestly the best way to help the show grow. Just tell other people and just kind of create, more about it in social media. Also, remember, at Blake PR, Dominaria preview card, story spotlight card, tell them. If we tell them they're not going to give us one, then you guys tell them they'll do it. They'll have to.
Don't tell them
to do it.
Don't tell them we sent you.
Or do. I don't care. But if
I'm joking.
If they all do it, we'll get one. You can follow the show at ThinktwiceMTG on Twitter, and you can email the show directly, thinktwicemtg@gmail.com. You can also support the show, patreon.com/thinktwicemtg. We have a lot of reward tiers that you're able to support the show at. We're actually gearing up to send out our first batch of rewards for people that have supported at our Erebos' Emissary tier for at least 4 times. We have brand new playmats. They look really sweet. Ali and I are obviously in different cities, so I'm going to work on getting those signed, but we will try to get those to you. If you want one signed, it may take a slightly longer. If you want one not signed, you'll probably be getting it within the next week to 2, depending on where you are. I also want to give a shout out to our new Patreon supporters, Shane Y, Sarah A, Matthew N, Jacob D, and Alex E. Thank you guys very, very much for your support. I also want to give a shout out to our graphic designer, Amber West, our Dirty Carolina fan, director, and producer, John Choi, and our Agent of Bolus producers, Josh Lyons, Daniel Hunt, and Gordon Russell. Thank you guys so freaking much.
Yeah, thank you very much. We obviously appreciate you. I appreciate you the most. Just kidding. We all appreciate you. That's like the best way to support the show. It keeps us coming day in and day out. And obviously we love doing this together, but we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much. We're excited about Dominaria. We still got one more show before we kick off with getting to Dominaria story and obviously the new Magic set. We have a really good show lined up for next week. I don't want to spoil anything, but I know what our topics are, and you will want to listen next week for sure. We are leading with a topic that I have spent many dozens and hundreds of hours in my lifetime thinking about. I'll just leave it at that.
Wow, that's I'm intrigued. Well, but I feel intrigued.
Good. Well, that's good. That's even better. All
right.
Okay. Ollie, I love you very much, buddy.
I love you too, man.
All right. We love you guys too, and we will see you next week.